Welcome to Stirling Bites, where we go on a quest to find the best takeaway in Stirling, and for the second episode we're checking out Café Aina. So Aina is another iconic food place in Stirling. It's very popular in town and quite notorious for its very flavoursome Greek cuisine. Checking out their website gives us some interesting background info, which I always love to hear about. So Aina is a family-owned business that was established a few years ago when the owners originally moved from Cyprus to Scotland. Fun fact, actually, the name Aina is an anagram for the initials of the family's 4 sons. And some of the family members being vegan, they decided to adapt their menu accordingly, so there are many vegan options to choose from. They offer takeaway and delivery services, but there's also a sit-in option at the restaurant, which you can book online. Their opening hours are from 12 p.m. till 10 p.m. 6 days a week. As to the menu itself, they specialize mostly in Mediterranean, Greek-inspired cuisine, so souvlaki dishes are their main items. There are also salads and different types of sides like chips, hummus served with pita bread, and some desserts like baklava. In terms of stats, it's got some really good reviews. Looking at numbers here, we have 4.5 stars on TripAdvisor, close to 5 stars on Just Eat, and 4.7 stars on Google Reviews. So a very good score overall. But now, let's see for ourselves. Let's order.
Okay, so you are the chef and sous chef,
That's what you call.
and you
He's an intern, new one.
I'm in touch.
trainee. Okay.
This is the money.
And we're back at the table with the food, but I just noticed that there was an error with my camera just before I arrived to Aina, so I actually did not record the conversation with the member of staff as I thought that I did, which is a bit of a shame, but as Forrest Gump would say, shit happens. What I will say though, since we missed it, is that the staff was very friendly, had a nice little chat. They suggested some items in the menu, which I ordered. So let's unpack it. So here's the food unpacked. As you can see, I ordered 3 different items. The dip was included in the order. The total cost for this order was £18.20. And to break it down, we have a Greek kebab souvlaki, which cost £8. We then have falafel bites, which cost £5.50. And finally, a slice of chocolate cake, which was £4.70. So overall, I'd say that the sides are on the expensive side. And the actual main course, the souvlaki, £8. That's actually pretty affordable. I'm assuming this is the souvlaki here. And with the size of it, you can see, I'd say that's pretty affordable for £8. But again, let's have a look once we've opened it. I want to try the falafel bites first because I'm very curious about this dip here. Let's have a closer look at the dip. It looks like some sort of chutney, potentially. Mango type chutney, I'm assuming. So let's have the top view here. Yeah, it smells very chutney-like, so we're going to have a bit of a taste. Oh yeah. Yeah, some sort of mango type chutney with a bit of spiciness to it. We can see some red bits inside, so I'm assuming there's some sort of like pepper but I'm not sure how it'll go with the falafels themselves. So let's have a look at the falafels. So there they are out of the bag. So there's 6 falafel bites here. So here is the first falafel bites that we're gonna taste. It smells really good. Okay, let's have one without the dip first. It's really crunchy on the outside, really soft on the inside. It tastes pretty good. Let's have another one with the dip here. I've never had mango chutney with some falafel before. But you know what they say, there's gonna be a first time for everything. Let's have a top view. and let's dig in. Oh wow. Well, I would have never guessed that, but they actually go really well together. The sweetness of the mango chutney really balances the saltiness of the falafel. That's actually a very good blend. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised with these falafels. Like £5.50, I thought that was a bit expensive, considering the fact that there's only 6 of them. But I mean, they're quite big bites. They taste really good. And I was expecting to have maybe a white sauce, a sort of tzatziki-like dip. And instead I had this mango chutney, which I was a bit dubious on. And combined together, they go really well. They really balance out each other. Yeah. Okay. The falafel bites are a win for me, definitely. I'm going to stop right there before I finish them all in a single go. I want to try the Greek kebab souvlaki, because that is the main course. And that is, I think, going to be the highlight of the meal. So we're going to try and get it here. Sort of wrapped in this insulating package. That's interesting. I've never had an order like that before. So here we have the Greek kebab souvlaki. It's stuffed with fries. The pita bread is looking really nice and crispy. And we have the inside with all the fries. I mean, it's quite loaded with fries, I have to say. I was expecting a bit less. And then we have the inside here with the meat and the tomatoes, I believe. And we have some onions that I can spy here. I mean, it is looking quite good. And you obviously can't see this with the camera, but it's got quite a bit of weight to it. It looks relatively small, but it seems to be jam-packed with a lot of good stuff. So, on that note, I literally cannot wait. I'm going to take a big bite out of this Greek kebab souvlaki going in. Just so much flavor in that first bite. The sauce, there's a bit of white sauce that we can see right here. That just tastes magnificent. And the spices that they've added, I mean, it seems like a really small addition to put a bit of Mediterranean spices on there, but it just packs so much punch in terms of flavor. And the raw onions with the tomatoes and the meat, they go really well together. There's no 3 ways around it, folks. That tastes amazing. Honestly, really, really good. I will say that there's a bit too many fries, maybe. It would have been nice to just have them on the side. I don't think they add much to the souvlaki itself. But the rest, I mean, the bread is really nice. It's not dry at all. Let's have a closer look at the bread here. And it's nicely covered with this white sauce that adds just so much flavor. I'm gonna stop right here because I want to have a taste of that chocolate cake as well. But honestly, the Greek kebab souvlaki, it's a real win. Let's put it on the side here, and let's go for dessert. So, I actually wasn't planning on getting dessert until I overheard the staff member mentioning that it was all homemade. And as I mentioned in the intro, I believe most of the desserts are vegan. So I thought, okay, there's a vegan chocolate cake in the menu. I'm definitely going to try that. I've opened it up so we can have a closer look at this chunky slice of chocolate cake. Again, the smell coming out of it is just so chocolatey. I mean, that seems pretty obvious, but if you buy a chocolate cake from Tesco, it just has this chemical smell, whereas this, the smell coming out of it is just like heaven. Let's have a top view here of the cake slice so you can see how chunky it is. I mean, I was a bit scared that it was going to be half of that, but it is pretty decently sized. Whether or not it's worth £4.70, that's what we'll have to check with the tasting. Alrighty, we're gonna have a nice fork out of this. Look at that. It looks nice and moist and gooey. It looks really moist, which is how I like to have my chocolate cake. Wow. I mean, I'm gonna repeat myself a lot today, but that just tastes amazing. The texture of this is just... This is what I expect a chocolate cake to taste like. You know, it's not none of that dry nonsense where you have one layer of icing in the middle that's supposed to balance out everything out. This actually tastes really moist, really chocolatey. I'm baffled that it's even a vegan cake. Usually the vegan cakes that I've had taste very sweet, and they don't have that heartiness of a good chocolate cake. But this, I have no clue how they've done it. Well, I take back what I said about the price being expensive for the sides and the dessert, because both of these taste amazing. Now, in terms of quantity, they might not be the most generous portions, but you're getting a bang for your buck here. There's a lot of quality packed into those small little items. The icing isn't too sweet, and you can't find any icing in the middle actually. It's all on the top, right? So it doesn't overpower the chunk of the chocolate slice. Right, folks, it's time to rate this magnificent order from Café Aina. We're going to rate it against 3 different criterias, which are my overall enjoyment, the customer service, and finally the value for money. Starting with my overall enjoyment, I absolutely loved this order. I was a bit skeptical at first once I paid, because I thought £18.20 for 3 relatively small sized items might have been a bit overpriced, especially with the sides. But I mean, the falafels were just on their own really tasty side dishes, and with the dip, that just made all the difference. I think that the combination of the two was really unique. I highly suggest anyone who orders those falafel to try it with the mango dip, because that was a big revelation for me. Next time I order some falafels, I'll be required to have these on hand. When it comes to the chocolate cake, an absolute banger of a chocolate cake. Just so much flavor, really moist. Not at all the sort of industrial cakes that you'd find in Tesco or Aldi or whatnot. This was just, you could see that it was homemade. And the fact that it was vegan and that it tasted just like a normal chocolate cake, to me, that was just baffling. So a real win for the chocolate cake. And for the main course, the souvlaki, just it packed so much flavor with the spices, with the sauce, and then you have the meat and the tomatoes, the onions. I mean, the ingredients seems to be really good quality ingredients, and I really enjoyed the mixture together. The bread was also very nicely cooked. I mean, as a whole, guys, that order tasted like heaven. So naturally, when it comes to my overall enjoyment, I'm gonna give this banger clapping hands. When it comes to the customer service, perfectly alright. Had a nice little chat with the staff member, also had a chance to talk to the chef and the sous chefs at the back. The place also looks really nice. I think it's a good opportunity to sit there and enjoy the food directly at the restaurant. So for the customer service, I'd give it a thumbs up. When it comes to the value for money, my initial thoughts were this is probably going to be the weakest point of this order, and honestly, I've sort of changed my mind, because yes, the portions are relatively small, especially if you're a big eater like me, and you know, I expect my orders to really fill me up to the brim. Despite the modest size of each item, they all packed so much quality that it's really hard for me to just give a bad rating. I think that £18 for these 3 items, considering the flavor that they all had is perfectly reasonable. So I'm gonna give the value for money a thumbs up. So when it comes to the final rating, out of 5 stars, I'd give this order from Aina a 5. So as you can see, I'm totally conquered by this order, and I'd highly suggest that you go check out Cafe Aina if you haven't done so already. I've included some links in the description below as always for you to check out. So there we go, folks. This was our second Stirling food review. If you enjoyed, please make sure to share the video and let me know in the comments if you've eaten at Cafe Aina before and what did you think of it. Also, let me know if you have any suggestions for which takeaway we should review next.